Toodaloo.
Is Hu Tao still worth using in 2023? What changes had appeared since her last known rerun? How does she fare in the game now? Is she still worth playing to this day? Is she still worth pulling if she gets a rerun? What are her roles? Many questions have came to the rise of her ever since Fontaine's newest enemies came out, and kind of shifting a bit more on the meta without relying a bit too reluctant on Dendro. So, I'm gonna be your man here to talk about if she's worth pulling or, if she's still worth using in 2023. Before we get started on today's video, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone subscribing and showing your support to the channel. We've actually reached 666 subscribers. Devil numbers. But seriously, if you guys really truly enjoy these videos, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. That will be greatly appreciated. We are on the road to 700 subscribers, and I appreciate every single one of you guys sticking around to these streams, videos, and stuff like this. That definitely means a lot, and I appreciate our support, everyone. Hopefully we'll be able to reach that sub count soon, or maybe we'll even reach higher, like 800 or even 1,000 soon. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Now, you could correct me if I'm wrong if I don't remember the banner or where she first debuted, but ever since Hu Tao's debut in 1.3, she is known for one thing and one thing only, being one of the greatest pyro DPS characters in the game without a doubt, and for being one of the first ever characters to ever introduce what I like to nickname the risk and reward playstyle. She's one of the characters where she's able to trade off health for increasing her own personal damage, which implements the high risk and reward of having lower health on the risk of getting knocked out by enemies, but by doing even more damage. But on the bright side, Hu Tao does have her amazingly powerful kit, which allows her to amplify her damage to make it even skyrocket higher and give you more incentive to playing risk and reward without the need of using healers. Other than that, Hu Tao is definitely the embodiment of one of the best pyro characters in the game. Definitely is one of the, still probably the best by far. A close second would definitely be Yoimiya, but their damage is indeed comparable. And I even did a damage showcase comparison if you guys want, that we're gonna, get to later on the line. So, let's talk about Hu Tao based on the kit, her gameplay aspects, and what she's capable of. Let's do it right now. As a character who also ascends with crit damage, definitely focus on building a high crit value ratio for Hu Tao. Other substats will definitely focus on power damage bonus and elemental mastery, as she can also hit really hard, especially with the boosted capabilities of elemental reactions such as Vaporize and Melt. Weapons, if you have Salvo Palma, excellent job. If you don't, use weapons like other crit weapons like Deathmatch, Black Cloak Pult, or even Primordial J-Wing Spear. But if you don't have any of those, definitely go for Dragon's Bane. It's her best budget 4-star weapon by far, especially when you're just starting out with playing Hu Tao and you want to focus more on her damage for Vaporize. For artifact set wise, definitely go 4-piece Crimson Witch of Flames. It's still her best slot artifact set by far to this day, although the domain sucks. Sorry for that, I just wanted to let that rage out, especially due to how much pain we've been grinding those pieces. Anyways, you can also run 4-piece Shimonama Reminiscence, which is actually a very good and also pretty comparable to 4-piece Crimson Witch of Flames because it provides more power to your charge attack spam that Hu Tao is well known for. Another thing is that they both increase and give you more power to utilizing Hu Tao's skill. And if you want to see a damage comparison between those two, I have a video that's on your screen right now. You can click on it if you want to take a look. For constellation wise, C1. It's dead required. Especially, which gives you even more power to her charge attacks after using her skill. And speaking of, for talents wise, I would recommend crowning your skill and your normal attacks first. Her burst is also a good counterpick if you are really also good for using her burst, since it also does some very good damage. Anyways, let's get to some of the gameplay right about now. The monster that I use is definitely a Vivian of the Lake, which is one of the local legends at Fontaine, which are the newest monsters by far in version 4.0, and turned out to become quite the best test subjects, especially to use Hu Tao for the footage here. As you know, these guys are obviously completely purely Hydro, so Hu Tao can get some stonks here, especially when it comes to the free Vaporize damage. And obviously, what I'm doing if you don't have C1 Hu Tao is definitely a method called jump canceling, where after I perform a charge attack, I immediately press jump instead of micro dashing, because you're going to be wasting a lot of stamina. The thing about Hu Tao, if you don't have C1, you're going to have to find ways to conserve your stamina as much as possible so that you won't be missing out on the high damage potential that Hu Tao can do. Especially not to mention also the fact that you really have to get characters like Zhongli to shield her, because moments when you're trying to jump cancel, which I've been obviously based on experience, you can get knocked with Hu Tao, especially when you're whenever you're airborne. So having a comfort character like Zhongli will be very viable. Although I wouldn't recommend pairing Zhongli if you have him C6, which I am a C6 Zhongli main here, so wouldn't recommend that without a doubt. But definitely make sure to pick between either jump canceling or, micro dashing. There are downsides and upsides with using each of those two, as I mentioned. Jump canceling, more stamina conserve, but micro dashing, increasing chances of dodging. Take your pick of which one's best for you, and just roll with it for Hu Tao. I hope you're able to see the two screens, because I'm terribly sorry with the restrictions of Share Factory. This is the best as you can see these two for now. But here's the comparison of Hu Tao and Yoimiya's damage together. Now, I have run in two different teams, which I know might make the comparison a little bit different, but just so you know, I am using two of the Living Legend bosses of the Hydro Aeolodons for this one. And as you can tell from the damage alone, obviously with Hu Tao's charge attack and jump canceling setup with Maiko, and then using Yoimiya's normal attacks, you can tell that they can hit really similar amounts of damage for their specific damage in total outrights. Obviously, as you know, Yoimiya from the first on the left side of the clip is a lot more on the comfort side and just not needing to dodge and just, normal attacking. Hu Tao on the other hand, emphasizing more on the risk and reward playstyle on the right clip. The damage and, speedrun time comparisons are very similar, especially when I'm running, when I got those two clips to showcase the differences between the two. Obviously, if we kind of ignore the energy gains and the setups in comparison between them, obviously both of them can do consistently same amounts of damage, especially when each hit here for both of these clips are guaranteed to crit and vaporize. Or vaporize, why did I say that? But yeah, that's pretty much a comparison between the two, and obviously the damages are really close. Like I mentioned before, the difference is one of them is a lot more versatile, flexible, and easy for comfort. The other one requires a little bit more on the risk and reward and a little bit more getting used to. So that's the comparison between the two, although they're both really good DPS characters in their own right. Now that I've shown you the comparison between Yoimiya and Hu Tao, obviously you are dead aware that these two are very similar in terms of damage and their playstyles. One's normal attack and one's charge attack. Now let's get right to the comps that, both of them can utilize, but we're focusing morely on Hu Tao. Obviously, one of her best comps is obviously with Vaporize, especially when you pair Hu Tao with characters like Yelan and Xingqiu together, but it's more preferably to use one because each one of them would have strengths and weaknesses over the other. Yelan trades off less Hydra application and defense and for obviously her own personal and more damage. Xingqiu is a lot more preferable for support, especially if you don't have Yelan. You could definitely run them together if you want to get a lot of bonus Hydro application, and obviously with the Hydra resonance in effect, obviously Hu Tao double vaporize is definitely one of her best cons for sure. Another variation would definitely be just, running Kazuha and Bennett together, which is just the usual Hydro, Hu Tao vaporize team, right? You could definitely have Kazuha shredding your power rest for you, and then you have characters like Bennett to help you provide a little bit more comfort and versatility to your kit. It's more preferable to run Hu Tao in Vaporize comps nowadays. It's still her best comps by far when it comes to her high damage potential and making her hit Nuke's amount of damage, so definitely would recommend running those instead of Dendro meta. Hu Tao is better off with running just Vaporize comps in general. Hu Tao still remains as one of the best power DPS characters in the game, and it's a good thing that ever since now Fontaine, we've kind of shifted a little bit away from the Dendro meta, since Hyper Boom and Dendro comps have really took the game by storm during the version 3 playlist, and it's good to see that Hu Tao is finally back for her 4.1 rerun alongside the new character Neuvillette for the first half. Now to bring out my verdict. Is Hu Tao still worth using in 2023? Personally, yes. She still is a very formidable pyro character that you can definitely use in the hardest content of Abyss because of her insanely high damage potential and scaling. Not to mention her amazing damage when it comes to her risk and reward type of playstyle, which emphasizes you to play a lot more risky and not try to rely on healers too much ever since her debut. It just makes up for the fact that she can hit some ridiculous damage, not to mention people have been labbing with her and also getting her constellations like C1 and her best style weapon, Staff of Homo, which if you want my honest opinion of what I would recommend for Hu Tao, obviously, you know, getting C1 would probably be a lot more preferable, especially if you want to have more power with Hu Tao, you know, without the need of jump canceling because of the stamina issues with C0. C1 is probably a lot more preferable than Staff of Homa, because Staff of Homa, although a damn good weapon, would definitely recommend C1, because Homa is pretty much like what I would literally describe it as everyone's universally best polearm for all polearm characters in the game, which is ridiculously true, because for being the first weapon to ever introduce crit damage for polearms, it's pretty much damn understandable why that's the case. And I would definitely recommend Hu Tao if you're, you know, wanting for the fast-paced playstyle. And just like I mentioned with Yoimiya and Hu Tao before, Hu Tao and Yoimiya are pretty much similar when it comes to their DPS own rights. Yoimiya is a lot more versatile and consistency, especially with her fluency with normal attacks. Hu Tao is the more, like, a little bit more of the challenging but more rewarding, as I like to nickname it, because she emphasizes playing a little bit more risky, but will definitely make the risk pay off, especially when you're focusing on trying to score the highest damage possible, while also implementing and knowing the risks of you getting, you know, easily knocked out, especially due to the fact that you are going to have low health almost all the time if you run her in comps that don't implement on healers. Anyways, so yeah, I guess that's definitely where I'm going to go ahead and end off the video. So yeah, everyone, thank you guys all so much for watching today's video of me talking about this. If you think this helped you a lot, and if you guys enjoyed and what you see, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That will be greatly appreciated. And I wish you guys all the best of luck in going for Hu Tao or Neuvillette in the first half banishment version 4.1. I wish you guys all the absolute best of luck for your pulls, and yeah. If you guys want to see more on, you know, the Genshin characters worth using in 2023, I have the playlist in the left over here. And if you want to take a look at the last video of this, click over here on the right. Signing off for now, this is Maverick128, and I will see you all in the next video, everyone. Peace out, and take care.